Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this morning's webinar from the British Remain Chamber of Commerce. I'm Neil McGregor, I'm the chairman of the Chamber. It's very good to see so many of you here, both joining us on Zoom and also on Facebook. We are going to be recording this webinar, so it'll be available also to you after the event, or if you want to pass word of it on to your friends, please do so. It'll be available on the Chamber's social media and I believe YouTube channel. So I'm very pleased that normally it's a case of introducing our speakers, but in this case, it's a case of welcoming our speakers. I'm very pleased that Ixodron has become a new member of the Chamber. We have a lot of new members at the moment. And perhaps I can introduce George Adisa and Flavio Chuanca. George, welcome. I'm very pleased to see you become a member of the Chamber. Can I ask you why you become a member of the Chamber?
Thank you, Neil. Good morning, everybody. We joined recently, as you mentioned, the Chamber, and for us, it seems it was a good decision. Coming back to the why, we were looking to connect with like-minded business leaders, to get to know other companies, of course, to promote our services, and why not, to understand what others can offer and to cooperate with them. So that's shortly, and thank you again for this opportunity. Welcome, everybody. It's a pleasure.
I hope you have a very good experience, not only today, but your membership of the Chamber in general. As you say, this is about connecting people and increasing the chances of doing business, because people will know you better, you will know others better, the network works. So my day job is as a commercial lawyer, and that involves me asking stupid questions. So the first stupid question, I know what increasing profitability is, but what is RPA?
Okay, so RPA is robotic process automation, and it's a game changer for businesses everywhere.
Right, well, that sounds good. Before we kick off, there is a chat box you'll see at the bottom of the screen if you're watching us on Zoom. Please put questions there. If you have any questions on Facebook, please put your questions in the Facebook chat. That is being monitored by our colleagues in the Chamber, and those questions will be passed on to Flavio as our speaker. And Flavio, you can answer those either as you see them or at the end. And I believe there'll also be a number of polls taken in the course of this webinar. So perhaps I can cut off my part and say BAFTA. Look forward to hearing about RPA, and particularly about increasing profitability. Over to you.
Thank you. Welcome, everyone, and good morning. Thank you for the BRCC for hosting this event. My name is Flavio. I'm in sales for almost 10 years, and along with my colleague Cosmin, who is our RPA architect, we hope that we will shed a new light on what digital transformation is and how it can be achieved through automation. So, before we start, let's take a short look to today's agenda. So, we will be talking about traditional versus modern and discuss how RPA can improve after implementation and the new way of doing things. Next is what is RPA, and for those who are new to automation, we will take a walk through what it means, what it brings to the table, and how far it can go. Next, we will see where is it useful, because what companies can enjoy RPA and what departments are most suitable to automate. What to expect, because I don't know, is it a one-size-fits-all kind of solution? Do all companies have the same outcome? What exactly are the benefits that the company can see? Next, we will be talking about common concerns and how to solve them, because like every new technology, you need to have a proof that it works and that it can make a positive impact on your company. And last but not least, we'll have some success stories that we have implemented and see how some companies are leveraging automation and how it improved operations. Okay, so getting the ball rolling, we will talk about traditional versus modern. So today, most companies have repetitive tasks on a daily basis. And some of these tasks can be found in high volumes at the end of the month, meaning, and they usually take much more time than they are actually worth. They are hard to scale, and they are usually steps that lead to a final product or service and have to be made in the same manner each time. Otherwise, that whole process would change and probably nothing would get done. So today, through automation, we get a whole new set of attributes from our processes without changing the end product or service. We can achieve scalability because the processes now take a few minutes instead of days, and no more errors that require constant running back and check the accuracy. Now, this translates to a greater cost efficiency, to less time spent on menial tasks, and more time on things that drive business forward. Now, focusing on what matters gives you a more agile approach in your business, where you can adapt to new situations quickly, see what works, what doesn't, and change accordingly. Having accurate data to which to work with no delays, no errors, and a complete overview of the process, you can now make informed and strategic decisions. Now, as history teaches us, there is always room to improve. Okay, so this is about the RPA. Now, let's see exactly what is RPA. Now, it's getting more and more appreciations from companies of all sizes, and it really is a game changer for today's times. RPA is actually the missing link in the sea of apps and processes that have been implemented by companies in recent years, with each resolving an individual issue, but do not communicate with each other. So it is also more about helping humans complete processes and less about replacing them in the workplace. So the idea that the robots are here to take our jobs is really far, far away. It is also more than just about cost reduction. Although this is a significant improvement, the real value is found in increased productivity and employee satisfaction, as we are all much more happier when we have menial tasks instead of repetitive ones. You can see it in another way. Much like the Industrial Revolution took away the physical labor-intensive tasks from humans, so do software robots take away the continuous copy-paste type of work. Now, RPA is just the beginning of a company's digital transformation. If you plan on adopting automation, it is better to see it as a journey rather than just a singular improvement. This is because first, you will start to automate a few processes that really take the most time and have the least productivity. Then you start to discover more and more processes that really should be automated and and really go all the way digital. Now, this is where, sorry.
Just I wanted to, sorry to intervene. Maybe, I don't know, I cannot see the slide moving or.
Oh, sorry, I think it's an error. Okay, better? Okay. Okay, so as I was saying, you can combine RPA with artificial intelligence, machine learning, and business analytics to create an automation map and to connect and understand all the data. You can, with business analytics, you can see a graphical overview instead of a long worksheet. And with machine learning and artificial intelligence, you can predict possible future outcomes. Okay, so this is it about RPA. Let's see exactly where is it useful. Now, there are a lot of domains. Although every company will need automation in one form or another, and there are a few domains which will see more benefits than others, like always in general. So let's see a few of them. We have logistics, where they receive various orders from various clients and vendors, and this is a very good way to centralize all the information. Next, you have banking and finance, where it accelerates credit assessment, it provides better analytical insights, and strengthens compliance. This is a domain where automation is a natural fit. Next, we have healthcare, where it helps remove administration tasks from medical staff. And honestly, these professionals should have more time to help people than to complete reports. You can also streamline back and front office operations and provide better insights for better decision making. Next, we have manufacturing. Now, in this sector, besides lowering operational costs, it enhances the bill of materials and facilitates reporting and administration tasks. Next, we have retail. Oh, sorry. where it is used in retail. It is used in invoice processing, demand and supply planning, asset management, or document exchanges. And RPA can really improve a retailer's margins. Also, you can use business and sales analytics to introduce new products. Even more than that, you can integrate automation with the ERP system, and actually this is available for a large number of businesses, so that you can seamlessly exchange data. Now, we also have the legal domain, which can find many uses for RPA, because starting from automation of notifications that need to be sent to clients or regarding them and their cases, to contract management and information gathering. Now, switching to a more granular type of view, we can also talk about some departments that can be automated and are better suited to be automated. So for example, human resources, where you can automate the onboarding process, which will help you give the best experience for new and existing employees. You can also have a clear view of an employee's journey and see what certifications they need, where they can improve, and how they perform in general. Now, you can also set up a easy feedback process, both from employees to upper management and vice versa. So HR really will see a great number of benefits from RPA. Next is accounting, and in accounting, you can really make their lives easier by with things like automating database exports, so that they work with information in hand instead of searching for hours. You can automate data entry, so that there will be no need to manually check every transaction made. And you can also automate declarations that have to be sent to authorities. And honestly, this kind of bot, I think, should be welcome with a red carpet. We also have procurement. For this department, the gains are very high. Why is that? Because RPA can work with both structured and unstructured data. It helps with legacy system issues, it helps with inefficient data storage, and it keeps track of purchase orders. The result is that you have enhanced visibility in every process, which leads in final to better decision making. Now, these are just a few examples, and I hope these give you a better image of what automation can do, and maybe have given you a few ideas for the future. I would also like to add that if you have any question, you can post it in the comment section, and we will discuss it later on. So, moving on, what can we expect from RPA? So, as in this picture, and I'm sure a lot of you have already seen it, and it's pretty on point for anyone who has been a part of the project until now. There's a difference between what we want, what the other person thinks we want, and what we actually needed. Now, communication is key, and as always, in getting what we want. And it's important to find the right partner when starting a project, because we are all specialized in our own domain, and it's sometimes hard to know exactly what is new and what is the most useful solution from other domains. But we always know where we want to see our company in the future, and that is a good point to start. And that is why it's important to know what expectations you can have from RPA in general. Now, some of these are accuracy and efficiency, because RPA has a 100% accuracy following defined rules. Now, typical rules-based processes can be automated somewhere from 70 to 80%. The rest would be in human decision-making and processes that cannot be automated because, as we said earlier, you cannot really replace humans. The workplace, it just helps them be more efficient. Last but not least, you also have the elimination of errors, which were unavoidable in case of manual tasks. Another great benefit is cost reduction, because robots work 24/7 without breaks or vacations, and they cut down to complete a task. Therefore, it increases productivity while lowering costs. Next, we have improved customer service, and this is achieved by two ways. First, it is tied with higher employee satisfaction, because now they are free from mundane tasks and they actually have the opportunity to grow. And second, that all the information they need is available in an instant, and they can respond much more quickly to customer inquiries. Also tied to this, you have, in general, happier employees, because, as we said, we are much happier when we have meaningful tasks with high value and is business critical, and we actually have the chance to show our value than just repetitive tasks. and this helps with job satisfaction and the retention rate. Okay, now we will move on to one of my favorites, which is the ROI, and it's actually one of the best arguments for any salesperson. And that is that the ROI is under 12 months. The average payback is really 9 months. For some, it may happen even sooner. It depends on the processes that are automated and their impact on the company workflow. The higher the volume, the higher the return. So basically, if you want to see it in another way, you win two things. You win time and something valuable to do with it. Okay, next we have the fact that it's non-intrusive for IT system. And as we said, it's more of a link between processes and systems and is not really intrusive to IT operations. So you do not have to do any changes in your infrastructure to implement RPA. And last but not least, we have improved analytics using AI and machine learning to provide intelligent analytics. Now, the robots by themselves, they create metadata and records, and they enable access to legacy applications. Now, with all this data, you can, with AI and machine learning, you can connect all the dots for better decision making. Okay, now we will take a short break from the presentation to ask you a few questions regarding RPA. Please answer them. We are really interested to know where you are in your RPA journey, and see how we can better serve. Thank you. Okay, 1 second. It looks like we have a small difficulty. I'll just 1 minute until we move on. Okay, so thank you very much for your answers. Now, moving on with the presentation, we will talk about common concerns and how to solve them. So, As in the attached picture, the robot can do many things except and ticking the box is actually one of them. Now, to give you an example, the robots you can actually program a bot to tick the box, but it will stop when it finds a CAPTCHA, because completing a CAPTCHA image requires decision making. Is it that a lowercase L, a capital Y? Is that a 3 backwards? Do you have to then install a new language pack to enter it? Things like that. So robots cannot actually make decisions. And when it comes to things like decision making, handling exceptions, or being creative, humans will still be in charge. Now, some of the most common concerns we have encountered are the following: that it gives new tasks to an already full IT department. And usually the decision to implement RPA comes from the operation side of a company instead of the IT side. But seeing that it improves day-to-day operational activity and is not invasive for IT operation, and more than that, it actually lowers the tickets the IT team receives. This is not actually an issue. Now, another one would be the current architecture constraints, because you have multiple ERPs or other apps and databases that are not connected to each other and have to be standardized in order for RPA to work. Now, there are actually two sides of this issue. One is that even without RPA, there is absolutely nothing wrong with standardizing your environment. And the second is that RPA specifically solves issues like this by connecting systems and moving data between them. Another common concern we see is that it takes away the human interaction, but it is actually the opposite in most cases. Now, RPA really requires can mimic the user's behavior, but it cannot mimic human interaction. Now, for example, it can actually give an operator vital information quick and accurately to respond to a client. Now, and that would mean that you will have to hold the client on hold with the jingle for 10 minutes until you find the information, and you can have it in an instant and save minutes on each call. Now, along this line, let's say you have a 1 minute call and a 3 minute call with the client, which at first does not look business disruptive. But if you take into account 2 minutes, if you save 2 minutes each hour for 250 working days, in 1 year, you save 64 working hours or 1.5 weeks. Now, how many clients would you serve with just a small difference like this? Next, we have security concerns. And what exactly happens with the data that is processed by RPA? Now, to answer this issue, log audits are offered by RPA platforms to trace and record every action that is made to automation. Now, by using this and security protocols, robots can only access apps and systems through regular profiles, like secure VPN, authorization, or a separate user profile. So in practice, you have total control and vision over what happens with your data. Now, these are the most common concerns we have encountered, but you have any others or want to talk about it, our Q&A session after the presentation is open. We are happy to discuss it with you. Now, moving things forward, we will talk about best practices when implementing RPA. We talk about what you should expect, and let's see what would be the best practices. So first, you will need a method approach, because usually you will be collaborating with a third-party company to implement automation, and it's crucial to have a methodology to follow. So we recommend continuous feedback and incremental implementation so that you will make sure that you will get what you want and your team will be comfortable with the change. Next is proper planning. And I know you have to plan everything when you do in a company, nothing is on the fly. But I refer to picking the right processes to automate first, because it's not a good idea to automate everything at once. It must be done gradually. And you also need to have a pipeline of projects you want to automate. This way you can prioritize which is more important. You will see that some can be adapted, some must be redesigned completely, and some may not be okay to automate. And the next one is picking the right people in the team. And this refers to the fact that in everything we do and everything that has been created, you have early and late adopters. Now, the early adopters are usually more tech savvy when it comes to automation. So this is the people you have to start working with when implementing the project in your company. They have to be, besides tech savvy, they also have to have experience in the company. Because in the later stages, and when you actually roll out the automation processes, they will help the less tech savvy employees adapt to the change and be comfortable with the new tools. It is important. This will ensure your success when implementing automation, and you will use it at the full potential. Now, these are our advices for best practices. This is where my part of the presentation stops, and I will let Cosmin, our RPA architect, continue with some of our success cases. We will see each other later in the Q&A session, where we are happy to discuss anything you want to know about RPA. Thank you very much. Cosmin, you have the stage.
Hello, everyone, and I hope you can hear me loud and clear. I would like to thank you, Flavio, for introducing us into the RPA world. Right now, I'm going to continue by presenting you some of the use cases that we have come across in the past few years and the solutions we've implemented for each one. The first case, just give me one second. Yeah, the first case consists of automation of the registration reporting process of supporting documents. The company in cause, for which we have developed this solution in the manufacturing industry, one of the top 10 companies in Germany. Now, the problem, every month, the accounting department had to generate hundreds of reports from the SAP database, attach supporting documents, and upload them in another application to ensure compliance with authorities from 33 countries. As a first step, before starting to develop our solution, we went through a phase of simplifying process. For example, they were using multiple SAP transactions, which concluded with the same result. So we've come to the conclusion that we should use only one SAP transaction that fits all the 33 countries in the scope. After we've finished with the simplifying process phase, we started to develop the automation solution under the Microsoft environment, having at the end a high-level dashboard developed in Power BI from where every interested part was able to check and take a quick decision, having all the data in one place. Now, regarding the benefits for this particular client and automation, we reduced the operational cost by about 850,000 euros per month, followed by other secondary benefits, such as improvement of the company's image with stakeholders. If you have any questions so far, you can type them in the chat and we will answer them in the Q&A session. The second use case is about the automation of processes in the asset management department. This project was implemented for a top 3 service center from Bucharest. Now, the problem, the company was handling the accounting activity for 27 countries, each requiring a report in their native language. Information was extracted from different databases. Some employees were handling multiple countries at once, and in the last 3 days of each month were blocked by this activity. As a first step into solution, we went through the simplifying process phase with the client using lean methodology. This is our company's approach for each automation project. After we defined the final process, we started to develop the RPA solution into the Microsoft Cloud environment combined with the UiPath. The main benefit for this implementation were cost reduction, an error-free process, and inspecting SLA became more common, and thus the company received a lot less penalties. And overall, it got a bird's eye view on the entire process. Now, for the fourth case, we'll talk about automation of tax returns. The problem was as it follows. The company had a number of 15 different Excel books, each containing more than 2,000 lines, which were completed each month. This put a high pressure on the accounting department and was a very error-prone process. Now, for the solution, for this problem was to create a fully automated robot which executes the process end to end. The robot was developed in Microsoft environment. In the cloud, a first part of robot is processing necessary tax declaration data, and the second part takes the data from the cloud and process it in the SAP under virtual environment. The main impact was in the human resource department. 50% of personal costs were cut. The company also benefited from higher accuracy during this process, better customer relationships, and generating specific reports to stakeholders so that they could take quick and informed decisions. Case number 4, automation of the onboarding process in human resources. The problem, due to the fact that the company often hired new personnel, there were certain aspects that were neglected, leading to a negative experience because it took too much time for a new employee to receive all that was necessary to start working. So the solution was to build a Power Apps application linked with SAP database and with all the departments involved on the onboarding process. When a new employee came into company, all the necessary notification and approval flows are generated and sent to all the responsible persons. In the end, all the data is updated in the SAP, generating an employee file. So for the benefits after the onboarding automation, each department involved in the welcoming the new hire was notified in such a way that everything from equipment, certification courses, management was prepared for the first day. The human resource department gained more time to focus on better employee relationships and less in the repetitive tasks that were necessary with paperwork. And for the last case, the automation of financial processes in the account receivable department. The problem, a high volume of open invoices that were sent to clients and had to be collected. The challenge for the department was in the repetitive task of reports generating, SAP updates, data extraction, and contacting the clients that have not paid. So for this problem, we have developed a responsive web application using Microsoft environment. The employees from accounting receivable department had access to this interface where they can see all the open invoices for all the clients. They had the functionality to send emails and reminders in every client's language. All the data that was in the respective web application has been brought up automatically from SAP per each client's country by a robot. For the benefits, in 1 year, the company had a cost reduction of 1.3 million euros, 50% lower personnel costs, 30% rise in cash flow through invoices collected on time, better process accuracy, and generating specific reports. Now, I would like to thank you for your attention, and if you have any question, we'll gladly answer them in the Q&A session which will follow.
Okay, thank you very much, Cosmin. Thank you everyone for attention in your time. Now we'll have one more short poll, and after that you are welcome to ask us anything you want to know about the RPA.
Perhaps I can ask one to start things off.
Sure, please.
Many of the chamber members are SMEs. I can see how RPA can be of huge benefit to a large company, and probably to a medium-sized company. But let's say, how big does a company need to be to start getting real benefit from RPA?
RPA is available for a company of any size. It doesn't have to be a very large company to implement RPA. It depends on the platform they are installing it. And automation is becoming easier and easier to implement with great costs, with actually low costs to be precise. So it's available also for smaller companies.
Is it something that a sole trader could think of scaling up without increasing the payroll?
Yes, it can.
If
you
I
can implement it. Sorry?
If I can take this question. Yes, Neil, I guess you're right. When you are a small company and you want to scale, in fact, using automation of processes, RPA, would help you scaling without involving more resources and, of course, without needing to invest in these resources. I guess in an initial phase, this could be a validation both for the scale up project and for the efficiency, and if it works and it pays, you can bring on board human resources. But it's a good testing opportunity using RPA. And to come back to your first question, also small companies can benefit from this, because let's take the example of Microsoft ecosystem. I mean, everybody is using Microsoft. We are using Outlook, we are using Excel, we are using Word. And we can start to automate from simple, redundant and repetitive tasks like sending notifications, I don't know, taking clients' data and putting them automated in your CRM, which small company use also, until other more sophisticated, let's say, processes. So from my point of view, yes, it's an opportunity for SMEs also.
It's a growth tool as well as an efficiency tool.
Right.
Good. Anna, have we any questions?
No, not for now.
No one with any questions on Facebook?
Not for now, but maybe they will come up.
I suspect what we've seen before is sometimes people listen to a presentation and think, wow, they have to think about it before they can think of the questions they need to ask. Now, if there's anyone like that here, can they come back to you offline and ask the question to you, and how would they do that?
Yeah, sure. They can contact us at any time, and we have two websites. It's Ixobi.ro, which is the site dedicated to RPA and business intelligence, and also on the Ixodron site, where it's the mother company, let's say, for Ixobi. Also, you can all contact Flavio, and we will put in the chat the email addresses and the phone numbers. So on Ixobi site, we have also a WhatsApp direct number. You can pass all the questions there, and we will be quick to answer.
Now, the slides you used in your presentation, which I thought were great. I particularly enjoyed the slide of the swing from the tree. Are those available to members or to the audience offline? Can we get those?
Yes, the presentation will be available.
Also have there your contact details.
Yes, I left my contact details in the chat, and you will also find them in the end of the presentation.
I'm not sure that we'll have the chat available after the presentation finishes, but if we can get your slides up to the audience, I'm sure they'll find your details.
Sure, we will make them available.
Good. Anna, anyone else showing interest in, anyone else has thought of the questions yet?
Not yet.
Well, why don't we do this? I think it's probably worthwhile at this point for you to explain what our next events are going to be, to give people a chance to think of any more questions, and if there are none, we will give a vote of thanks to our speakers and move on. So, Anna, what have we got next?
First of all, I would also like to thank Flaviu and George and Cosmin for their very insightful presentation. I think you covered everything, but as it is a very niche topic, people need some time to think about it, and probably they will come back to you through us or directly to you. So thank you again and congratulations on this webinar. And yes, Neil, you are right. We are continuing our webinar series. As everyone knows, we have again restrictions in Romania, so face-to-face events are again not possible, unfortunately, not for now. And our next event will be on the 15th of November with our members, Grupama, and we will discuss together with them challenges to the employee benefits in the context of pandemic. So it will be a very interesting and interactive webinar. We're looking forward to seeing you. I will also leave here the link to the webinar. So if you want to sign up for it, just feel free to register there.
Now, and again, how soon will we be able to have the recording of this webinar plus
the recording of this
available
webinar will be available on both our website. It will be also on our YouTube channel and also, of course, on Facebook. It will stay there for people who want to watch it. It will be there for anyone interested in that.
That doesn't prompt any questions. It shows our speakers have done such a cracking job that there are no questions.
Of course, they did. They really did. And actually, we're planning some other very interesting webinars for next year with them. So stay tuned to us. We are preparing some very interesting topics for next year as well.
Good. So final call for this morning for any questions. Do we have anything that is burning that needs to be asked now online? If you want to go back and speak to our speakers offline, you have their contact details, and they'll be delighted to answer your questions. But if there's nothing else for the moment, nope. In that case, can I say, Flaviu, George, Cosmin, thank you very much for a very interesting presentation indeed. It's been food for thought, and it just shows what can be done. So many thanks indeed, and we're very pleased to have you as members of the Chamber. Enjoy your membership of the Chamber. Come to events, talk to members. If you want to meet people who we know, let us know. Please don't forget that as members of the British Chambers of Commerce Global Network, you also have access to the members of the British Chambers in the UK, plus the bilateral British Chambers around the world that are members of the network. So it's not just a single. Spread the word. Thank you to you all speakers. Anna, Stefan, my colleagues in the Chamber for organizing this. Thank you very much indeed. And thank you everyone who has been listening to us. Hope you found it interesting. Look forward to seeing you at our next webinar, which, as Anna has said, will be on the 15th, I think you said?
Yeah.
On the 15th. Good. As you've heard, we have more restrictions in Romania, so please stay safe. If you're not vaccinated, and I hope you all are vaccinated or double vaccinated, please consider very seriously getting yourself. It has to be the way forward for business to return to normal and society to return to normal. Thank you all very much indeed. Sănătate mult. Stay safe.
Thank you. Thank you very much again. Thank you, everybody, BRCC and our attendees. Looking forward to get in contact with you. Stay safe and all the best.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, and thank you everyone for participating.